We are getting old.
My dream is to be a pilot. I want to be an architect.
Geologist.
You and I are growing further. You don't really talk to me.
Hey everyone and welcome. We're here with the One Degree Alumni Podcast, episode 10, and today we've got Kevel, a student from way back, quite a few years. We're gonna chat about his journey through One Degree, what he's up to now, and some of the things he's done between One Degree and present day. So I mean, let's dive into it. Hey Kevel, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Nice sun. I'm sweating. Not that the sweat pads aren't coming through my armpits, but you know. How you
Good
doing?
to see you. I mean, I suppose let's start off and think way back to One Degree. Why don't you tell us what memories you've got of that? What year you were doing One Degree, and what sort of memories come to mind when you think of that time?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. So I was in One Degree in 2018. It was actually quite an interesting year that year. Obviously, year 11 last year, secondary school, making sure trying to get all my grades up, and One Degree did help me do that. I do appreciate every teacher that was there to help me get my grades up. What I do remember is I made quite a few new friends when it came to being a part of One Degree. I was once in the Westminster Academy for a little bit, saw some new friends there, made some new friends, as well as the current friends I still have to this day that I made back in God knows how long ago. It was actually quite an interesting time. Got up to a few interesting exercises when we had the little assemblies before we started tutoring and all of that. It was quite an interesting, very enticing, welcoming, warm reception I get from all the staff there. So yeah, it was
nice. I mean, when you first started, did you feel like it was something you really needed, or did it take a bit of kind of warming up to start to see the benefits of it?
Funny thing is that I've been seen as a clever kid when I was in school, and the problem for me is that I had trouble, I guess, exposing myself to use my cleverness to my advantage. I was always a bit of a recluse. I never really got enticed into school sessions. I was never good at just sitting down. But given the fact that when I was brought into the One Degree system, it kind of helped me get a little bit more introduced to just using your character, be a little bit more not extroverted, but a little bit more out there when it comes to using what you have. So I've been told I've got very good knowledge. I just need to learn how to use it. One Degree helped me get that out of me, and now I'm actually here able to talk about that. So yeah.
Nice. And other than academics, obviously One Degree primarily tries to help students with English and maths, but you know, along the way there's a lot of other sort of life skills and 21st century skills and little sort of tidbits of information and lessons along the way. Have you got any memories of any of those, or anything that's sort of standing out?
Yeah, they taught me quite a few skills actually. Just the let's see, how do I describe? Obviously, the whole making sure you're being yourself. You don't try and live up to anyone else's expectations, because there's simply people out there. If there's people out there that don't like you, it's as simple as there's people out there that you cannot please. I was taught that by quite a few tutors. To be precise, Jabba in particular, he was quite fond of him. Taught me quite a few things, such as being yourself, making sure you are using all your skills to the best of your ability, living life, making sure you're having fun with it. And the having fun one was quite important to me, because I know for a fact everyone within this life is about just making money. When it's money is material, it's not really going to be there forever. So I do appreciate the lessons taught, such as just being myself and enjoying it too.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of Jabba, I know you guys almost had a bit of a day where you had a bit of a race, because I know he's got some of the similar interests in athletics as you do, right?
Yeah, he does. I've been that entire year I was trying to get him to race me. I'm not sure why he didn't want to. I'm not sure, because he was bringing jeans every time he'd come to the One Degree system, but I was trying, and then there was even a little Instagram post saying it was me versus him, and I was like, you see the Instagram? you got to follow it now. You got to run or not? He's like, yeah, I got it. And it never came around.
Something that I think we'll still have to try and achieve in the years to come and see if we can do a bit of a reunion.
I don't think you'd want to do that. I've been training for a good while now.
He's getting older and you're just getting more and more talented probably. So, as you started to get to the end of One Degree and you're approaching your GCSE exams, were you starting to feel that confidence was rising, like you felt a bit more prepared than you maybe could have been? And then going into the exams, how did that whole moment feel?
I remember this at the back of my hand. So the first exam that I had, I remember it being a maths exam. That wasn't too bad for me. I was always good with maths exams. The only problem, like before going into like year 11 and doing my actual exams, before then, my biggest issue was science, because I was doing a higher paper, and English, because I'm not going to lie to you, trying to do an English exam drove me up a wall. It was just long, tedious, and it was just So when it came to learning how to actually use my time correctly, thanks to you guys, it wasn't as drawn out, because I managed to find a way to keep bringing ideas out of my head, keep on writing, like try not to stop and sit and think, because that is kind of what kills me a little bit, because it draws the time out a little bit more. But the fact that I was able to be creative with my writing, make sure that whatever it is I am writing, it lines up with my previous sentence or what have you, something like that. Yeah, it made things a lot easier. The English exam was a lot easier thanks to you guys. But within like the exams as an overall, I actually had confidence walking in. Obviously, you'd have the few nerves like, oh boy, at the end, I need to get this done. But realistically, I walked in with every exam that I had, and I was able to put pen to paper without hesitation. I didn't have to stop and think too much. I didn't have a time of freaking out, because that was me beforehand. But then I was able to actually be like, okay, so if let's take a maths example. If it was if x equals y, what is xy divided by z? I was like, okay, I got it. I was able to write the answer down. It didn't take too much out of me. So yeah, there was confidence, but it was a little bit of nerves, as there would be.
Nice. And then, as you got all that stressful period out of the way and exams all done, year 11 kind of completed, a bit of relief going into summer holidays and stuff like that. Talk me through, how you're feeling about the next period of your life and some of the things you might want to achieve after that. And then what happened the couple of years, after GCSEs?
Prom, that was fun. Prom, presentation evening, just the I guess the farewell to my childhood life, which was quite overwhelming, I'll be honest with you, given the fact that I've basically spent from that time period, I basically spent my entirety of my life in school, and that I guess you could say I was kind of spoiled, because school life, everyone is going to say when they're a teenager, oh, I need to get out of school, man, this place sucks. But then when you get introduced to life and adulthood, you're just like, take me back to school, man. Take me back to school, please. But no, it was quite overwhelming, because as much as I was a little bit ignorant to it, I was also kind of aware, like, this is a big deal. Like, I'm going into the world itself now. Like, I'm going to start like getting a proper job. I'm going to get paid proper money. That was one side. On the other hand, though, I was like, that money is going to go towards like bills and stuff, so it's not really going to mean anything. But I think the first thing I did to kind of slowly introduce myself into the adult life was college. I went to Barnet Southgate College, studied sport for 3 years, had to start at level 2 BTEC, then I went to level 3 for 2 years, and within that time period I was, well, I wouldn't say introduced to it, but I was introduced to the athlete side of the program, which was the training, the athletics track and field training. As I said previously, I trained to be a 100 meter sprinter, 200 meters, basically just to be a really successful pro athlete. Barnet Southgate helped me awaken that skill even further than what I had before. I was training when I was younger, but then I got introduced to real training, and I struggled for the first few weeks. I did struggle, but within that meantime, as well as they're teaching, or I guess displaying that I could be more than just, you know, your run-of-the-mill 9-to-5 worker, they did show that putting your mind to things and just making sure that you say no to anyone that tells you you can't, it's quite an interesting thing, because there was so much doubt running through my mind, thinking that, being this athlete, is going to be kind of tough. I don't think I can do it. There's only a handful of people that can, and there's other people out there saying, it's going to be tough out there, man. It's going to be tough, and there's so much doubt running through your mind and all of that. But those coaches out there, they would always teach you, as much as there's a lot of people saying no, the only person that can say yes and it will actually mean something is yourself. So that was one really, really big life lesson for me, was that a lot of people are going to say no, but they don't mean anything. They don't live your life. You're living your own life, and whether you say no or yes, that's what dictates what's going to have your future held ahead of you. So that's what's put me here today. Training, I am trying to get to that. I'm still trying to get to that level, but my coach believes in me, my teammates believe in me, my parents, girlfriend believes in me. Those no's eventually turned into a yes. It may take a while, but you have it. You're gonna have a lot of adversities, such as life problems, bills, cars, houses, stuff like that, but you will find a way around it. And I am in the middle of finding my way around it too.
I mean, speaking of doubt and getting a lot of no's, and I mean, you've mentioned some of the advice you've got from your coaches and stuff, but other than that, has there been anything that's really helped you get through those tough days? Presumably, the combination of training and wanting to pay the bills and all that is incredibly hard, and you've got to fill your days with a lot. And then some days you just wake up and you just think, I don't know if I can do this, really tough. And can I face can I face more no's today or something like that? So what have you done to really help you get through those tough times?
So just to make sure that my life is balanced out, obviously you have my training side, which isn't paying me. I am trying to make sure that will pay me eventually, of course. But just to make sure I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket, I've also dabbled into the other half of, I guess, athletics training, that be the coaching side. So as of right now, I am basically I don't want to say part-time, but I'm a part-time athlete and I'm a part-time coach. I have taken into the hands of the Lee Valley Athletics Center, being their head coach. They have something called a Lee Valley Athletics Academy, where they run athletic sessions between the ages of 6 to 8, 8 to 12, and 12 to 16. I kind of prioritize the 12 to 16 group. The 6 to 8 and 8 to 12 is just to help those kids find a talent, whether that be sprinting, jumping, throwing, anything like that, and it works. I've seen quite a few kids like relinquish their abilities to either throw a javelin really far or jump into a sandpit as far as they can, or run really fast. They've now gone on to take training really seriously, and I'm proud of them for that. I'm doing the same thing with the 12 and 16, except 12 and 16 is a little bit more prioritized to sprinting, as that's kind of my specialty. I don't really want to teach them hurdles if I can barely hurdle myself. But doing that, it did help open some doors in other, I guess, directions of coaching as well. So one of my coaches in the college introduced me to Dwayne Chambers. For those that aren't familiar, Dwayne Chambers is a phenomenal athlete for GB, or he was a phenomenal athlete for GB. He ran a grand total of countless sub-10 100-meter times. He was a European champion. He held the European record for the indoor 60 meters. So this guy's no joke. He is no joke. When I met him, my knees kept slapping against each other, and I was sweating buckets. I was so nervous. But my nerves went away because, lo and behold, my dad met him. Well, my dad knew him because they went to the same school, so it made things a lot easier. So he introduced me to even more coaching, a little bit more professional coaching, international standard type of coaching now. So he has his own academy and he has his own athletes. Very, very, very talented athletes as well. Those athletes also, right now, I regrettably say they're faster than me, but that's for another time. But he's shown me that it doesn't all have to be training, sprinting. Don't put all your eggs in one basket because you clearly have a talent other than just running. That was coaching too. And on top of that, that's basically where my main source of income is coming from. That's also opened doors for me to work in a private school, Forest School in Snaresbrook Road. I've taught quite a few talented kids in that school. Like they whether it be football, Gaelic football, the really infamous sports as well, like Gaelic football, lacrosse, cricket. It's just opened a bunch of doors. Like all these kids, it's going to be quite interesting to see what the future holds for them, because with abilities like they have, it's quite astounding, And like I said, that's my source of income, just coaching left, right, and center for Lee Valley, Dwayne Chambers, and that school. So, yeah.
Amazing. And what are you finding more enjoyable at the moment? The actual training and athletic side that you're doing yourself, or the coaching?
It's a tricky one, man. It's a tricky one to answer because I think I love them just as much. Obviously, I want to have my time in the spotlight, making sure that I'm on that global track. I keep watching these Olympics and I'm looking at that purple track. Is purple now for some reason, but I keep looking. I'm like, I could be in lane 3. I could be wearing that gold medal. I want to be able to have that statement for myself, of course. But I also want to hear one day one of my athletes, they're on that track. They're in lane 5, 6, 7. They're winning that medal. And then when it comes to the interviews and stuff, their first shout will be me. I would have taught them what I learned from my coaches, and I'm forever appreciative of that. I think either or is just as much of a win as the next. So to say which one's best, it's gonna tear me apart because I don't know I couldn't tell you which one.
Nice. I've spoken to a lot of alumni recently, and I'm noticing a bit of a trend that, and I don't know, maybe you can say if One Degree has had an influence in this or not, but a lot of past One Degree students have gone into teaching, coaching, mentoring, supporting their communities, working for charities and stuff themselves, and really sort of paying it back in a way, and the whole philosophy of paying it back or paying it forward seems to really get embedded into One Degree students from their time there. Do you think this feeling that you're really enjoying the other side of things, not just doing something just for yourself, but doing something for other people as well? Do you think One Degree had any influence in that for you?
Absolutely. I would say the problem with school, and now I'm talking about like primary school, secondary school, is that it was too routine. Like there's a lot of people out there like to this day that are like, they're like, oh, I can't stand my job. It's just so regular, like 9 to 5. It's just like I go in, work on the desk or something like that, come back, and I gotta do the same thing tomorrow. That's kind of what it was for school. I think that was why I couldn't sit still, because it was so routinely boring for me. Like going in there, learning, doing 5-6 lessons of 5-6 different subjects. It got a little bit tiring. So having to do that over and over again, I think some people with my attention span is gonna find I can't sit here and learn this many times. But I think the one thing about One Degree was that things would always be different. There was a bunch of different personalities. There was a bunch of different things to do, different activities, different lessons. It may be the same subject, but they were you guys were able to make things different, entice us with different stimuli. It was every time you walked in there, it would be either hypothetically, we'll be making elephant toothpaste one day, and then we'll be learning to do backflips the next. You know, it was all different. So you guys definitely did help me learn to sit down and actually get intrigued into lessons, because you guys were just that much different to just school, you know.
Yeah. No, nice. And I mean, now that you've had a bit of space between GCSEs and one degree, and you know, it's been 6 years ago or so, you've had a bit of time to think back to that period and what you were like, you know, as a 15, 16-year-old, and how you handled school. Do you have any advice for students going into their GCSE year now that you could have really used when it was your time?
Yes, I do. I would say everyone that's in school now putting the pressure on you, saying, "Oh, you have to make sure you do well in your GCSEs. It's what depicts your life and all of that." Don't listen to them. All right, you go in there, you do the best you can, and if it's not what you'd expected, it's not the end of the world, okay? Because you've just gone through a fifth of your grand life. All right, in the grand scheme of things, yes, you want to do well in school because you feel like if you do the best and it gets you nothing, you're gonna feel like rubbish. Like, what was the point? But ultimately, you have so many other doors open for you. You know, like there's a saying out there for me that I've heard the other day, and it stuck with my head. This was from, it was from basically the fastest man currently to this day. His name's Noah Lyles. He's quite a famous sprinter now. It was in one of his YouTube videos. I heard it, and it stuck with me ever since. It goes, "To let a day like this that God made go to waste will just be criminal," you know? So even if you aren't religious, like, you want to make sure that anything that you do counts, okay? Anything, make it productive, learn a new skill, use that to your advantage, keep building on it, whether it be something that you learned in school or not. You, at the end of the day, you want to make every day better than the last, okay? Even if you, like, worst case scenario, if you fail your GCSEs, it's not the end of the world. You can still learn new skills that will get you up on, like, all the way up here. You'll be laughing, you know? GCSEs isn't everything. You can still go to college and still learn something there. Once you go to college, there are better chances of you actually getting a qualification that's worth it. Go to university, you do the same thing. You know, university is where it's at. Some people go there, have a little bit fun, and also got a qualification. Some people over there also still just go there and get qualifications, whether it be a degree, a bachelor's, master's, anything like that. You know, so to you young ones, like anyone there that's watching, do not stress for about the first 1/5 of your life. Okay, you've got this. Yeah, do your best. Yeah. I'm not taking away the fact that you shouldn't be trying. Of course, you should be trying. Everyone here should try to get the best outcome they possibly can get. But even if it's not what you're looking for, just keep moving, man. You got it. There's so many more days in your life for you to actually make something like snap. You'll get one day something will click, and then you won't even be thinking about school. I promise you that.
Love it. And I know you've spoken about balance and turning no's into yeses and stuff like that. What about just, you know, general advice that you sort of live by? Do you want to stick with balance as being your one bit of advice generally for anyone your age or overall, you know, just anyone, or is there anything else you want to share?
So for me in particular, I would say obviously don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, try and branch out and find other things, because for all you know, you might think that this one route that you're taking is the way to go, but then you get introduced to another outcome and you start finding another branch, and you might find, oh, it's going to take me further. So yeah, try and find as many open doors as you possibly can get, because you never know where it can lead to. But if you have a desired career choice, always make sure that you are focused on this by one means or the next. Okay, so what I mean by that is, one day, yeah, you will be focusing hard on this goal, but make sure that you find different branches for you to try and make that career path even more potent. Yeah, so whether that be, for me, for example, my training, I'm training with a phenomenal coach right now. obviously it can get a little bit tiring because it's kind of the same. It's starting to get into that routine thing that I was talking about previously. So what I do, I go back to my coaching, start branching out, finding other potential coaching opportunities. They'll introduce me to somebody else who might scout me, who might recruit me for, I don't know, getting a contract or something like that. This is just all hypothetical. It's all like kind of a thought process. It's not exactly real, but it can happen. So if your, I guess, number one career choice would be, for example, sprinting, just like me, and you're finding that it's getting a little bit hard, it's getting a little bit tricky, you're getting withdrawals and stuff like that, because it will happen. Make sure you keep all your other doors open, your other opportunities are available to you, because like I said before, you never know what could happen with that future. But try and keep a balance, because I always love seeing people have many different career choices, many different outcomes, many things they can fall on. If you just rely on one thing, put all your eggs in that one basket, and that falls apart, you won't have anything, So making sure that you are building blocks to many different outcomes, taking the athletes that you're going to see in the Olympics, I think tomorrow, for example, their main focus isn't just sprinting. It'd be some are into fashion, some are into music, some are into accounting, for example. They're all focusing on many like different things that will help build their, I guess, profile, their name for themselves, I guess. Try and have some form of balance. Make sure you have more than one. Right? Try and turn your hobby into something big as well. So for me, my hobby would be dance, or my hobby would be art or gaming or stuff like that. Try and like find different ways around it, so that you're not just focusing on your career. That if another thing that could possibly happen would be, if you was to focus so hard on your career, it get boring. It's hard for you to try and stay nailed down onto that one career path if you're just focusing on that alone. Yeah. So always make sure you have some form of hobby to keep you entertained, and making sure that you can take your time away from that career path. You don't always have to focus on that thing on its own. Have hobbies to try and keep yourself entertained as well. That's what I found.
So if we don't see you in the future for athletics, we might see you for breakdancing, is basically what we're talking about.
Maybe not breakdancing. Breakdancing is a whole other game in itself. So like doing all those head spins, I get dizzy. I don't think I could do breakdancing. Maybe street dancing. Yeah, street dancing is one thing. Nice.
Kev, it's been brilliant catching up with you and chatting. I definitely want to do this again so we can delve a little bit more into the athletic side and pick your brain on that. So anyone who's going down a similar path as you can learn from your lessons and get some advice from you. So definitely love to come back and do a part 2 in the future if we can. But for now, I think it's been a great catch up. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate chatting to you and some great bits of advice you've shared with us today. So thanks so much. So everyone listening, this has been One Degree Alumni Podcast. This is episode 10. You've been listening to myself, Roger from One Degree, and Kevel, One Degree student from 2018. Thanks so much for joining, and we will see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.